At problem number 44. It is solving an equation, a two-step equation here. First thing you're gonna do is add 2 to both sides. When you add 2, you're canceling that out. It's 1/2 x on the left. -4 plus 2 is -2. Whenever you're multiplying by fraction, you undo it by, rather than dividing by 1/2, you multiply by the reciprocal, 2/1. So on the right here, you're multiplying by 2/1. On the left, 2/2 cancels and you get x, or 1x equals -4. Okay, so a couple errors there on your page there. So let's go to the next problem that you have asterisk. Looks like it's number 24. Number 24 here. So we've got 7x plus 2 equals 3 times 1 plus x plus 2. So a little bit more complicated. You got variables on both sides. You also have this 3 on the outside. So you want to distribute that first. 3 times 1, that's 3, plus 3 times 1x is 3x plus 2. Bring the left-hand side down, okay? And you combine like terms. So on the right, you can combine the 3 and the 2 into 5. 5 plus 3x, 7x plus 2 on the left here. Subtract 3x from both sides. And that's 4x plus 2 equals 5, which is what you have in this line. You're doing great. Subtract 2 from both sides. It just doesn't work out nicely. Okay, so you get 3 on the right, divide by 4, and you get 3/4. Okay, and unfortunately, it's not that you did anything wrong. Sometimes you just feel like it's not working out the way I want it to. Basically, you want a nice number, or a friendly number, as I say. Next problem I see is number 34 here that needs some attention here. So we got 7 minus 2 times the quantity x minus 1 equals 5 times the quantity x minus 1. Okay, so the next step here is really to decide how you're going to handle this minus 2 on the outside. I think the way we've been talking about is to make that sign go with it. Okay, so it's going to be minus 2x plus 2 when you multiply it in. -2 times -1 is positive. Bring the 7 down, but it's plus. Once you've attached that sign to the number, it always becomes plus, equals 5x minus 5, because you're distributing that 5 into both. Combine like terms. So that's 7 and 2 go together. That's 9 minus 2x equals 5x minus 5. Decision here is which way to move the variable. Now, generally, students like to move it left. I'm going to suggest we move it right, because you generally move from the smaller to the larger. Okay, so this is 9 equals 7x minus 5. Add 5 to both sides to undo the subtraction by 5. And then 14 equals 7x. We're almost there. Divide by 7. X equals 2. So quite a bit there. You can also go back and check your answer. So I'm not doing that, but you could. You go back and put that value in for x, and then you're figuring out, okay, how do I verify that the left side looks like the right? So we could talk about that at another time if needed. Okay, moving on to section 3.5. Looks like 3.5 here. You've got your first question here is number 24. It's written kind of odd. 0 greater than -3x plus 3. There's actually a number of ways to tackle this problem. One way is to move the variable left. Okay, I'm going to suggest that because we can add 3x to both sides. You can always move things around by adding or subtracting in this case. So 3x greater than +3. Now we're going to divide both sides by 3. The key to this last step here when we're adding 3x is to recognize that we really want the variable on the left. Which seems to violate what we did in the previous problem. But you do have a preference with inequalities, though. You definitely want the variable on the left. So x is greater than 1. All right, and then it says as an interval. So we talked about last time about writing this on the number line. So let's say that's 1. It's an open circle. And infinity's over here. This is saying x is bigger than 1, x greater than 1. This means all the numbers greater than 1. So we're shading and everything to the right of 1. And we've got in our interval notation now, we grab the 1, we grab the infinity. Parentheses always goes with infinity. Because it's a greater than, because it's an open circle, you're going to use a 1 there. All right, let's take a look at number 34. Number 34 here. 7 plus 2x greater than -3. So notice here, The variable is already on the left, so we're in good shape here. I do see that you have subtracted 7 from both sides. That's perfect. 2x is greater than -10. Divide both sides by 2. This looks perfect. X is greater than -5. This is completely correct. And perhaps you're wondering, like, when do you flip this inequality? You only flip it when you multiply or divide by a negative. And we have not done that. So there's no reason to flip it. On your number line, and you notice I kind of graph these all the same. I put that number right in the middle, fill open circle because it's a greater than, and here's infinity, here's negative infinity if we need it. Again, it's saying all the numbers bigger than -5. So all the numbers to the right of -5. So that's not too bad because we know, just like the last problem, it's everything to the right, everything to the right there. Okay, so in interval notation, that's -5 comma infinity. All right. So let's keep going here. So the next problem I'm seeing is number 44. Okay, and you can see they're just kind of incrementally getting more difficult. You've probably done a nice job on this. 3x minus 4 greater than -2x plus 1. And for this here, we are going to combine like terms. So I'm sorry, we're not going to combine like terms. We're going to move everything from one side to the other. So we're adding 2x to both sides. 5x minus 4 is greater than +1. I'm going to go ahead and pause here for just a moment. Hey, Michelle. Not sure if you can see me yet. There I am. Hey, Michelle. Okay. Looks like you're still connecting to audio. Okay. Let me go ahead and just pause here for just a moment here. Be right back. Okay, so we're back here. Just a small delay there. So we've got this line here. We're going to add 4 to both sides. 5x is less than 5. Divide both sides by 5. X is less than 1. So again, on that number line there, you just put that value, whatever it is. It's an open circle because of that less than negative infinity. This means all the numbers to the left. That inequality always tells you, it says, okay, that way's left, okay, and this way is right. It's pretty straightforward when you got that down. Minus infinity comma 1. Infinities always get parentheses. Because it's an open circle, it's positive 1, like that. Okay, let's keep going here. Plenty more problems to look at here. So so far, just some typical mistakes that you see when students working through this for the first time. But I appreciate you giving this a shot, because until you've done a few of these, you're not sure whether you can do it or not. But that's great. All right, number 26, we're moving to 3.6. We're now on to literal equations here. And these are common on standardized tests. So the first one, it says P equals R minus C, solve for R. Very important that you know which variable that you are solving for. Okay, so we identify R there, and we ask ourselves, what is keeping R from being by itself? Subtraction by C. Okay, plus C on both sides. P plus C, we are not able to combine like terms. Your answer is completely correct. Okay, so I'm sure maybe just because there's no numbers, you're like, how do I even know if this is right? Good question. You just have to believe that you've done the work correctly, and you did in this example of 26. All right, so for 38, it's x equals minus b over 2a, and you're solving for a. A is in the bottom. It's always harder to solve for a variable when it's in the bottom, okay? And that's because to get it out of the bottom, you have to do something to clear the fraction. And I like what you did here. You multiply both sides by 2a. I like that. So it's 2ax or 2xa equals minus b. And then you divide both sides by the things that are left over, 2 and the x. They cancel on the left, and a equals minus b over 2x. You are completely correct on that one there. All right, let's look for another one here. Okay, so number 48. Can't tell if this is a new section. I don't believe it is. 48. New instructions though. I appreciate you writing the instructions. Very helpful. 2x minus y equals 3. And you have correctly, looks like you've done this perfectly. Subtract 2x from both sides. Minus y equals minus 2x plus 3. Divide everything by -1. It's not a choice. Everything gets that. Or you can think of it as changing the signs. 2x minus 3. Now, one sort of oddity here, it looks like you've gotten an R in your answer. I'm not sure because you do have an X 2 lines above, but this is the correct answer here. And yeah, your work's great. There's no issues there. So that is everything. Let me just check one more of the emails that I saw sent over, and definitely can take a look here and see what's going on, see if there's any other problems here. So what I'll also do is just check your work, since I've got some time here. So starting with 3.3 now, your answer for number 10 looks to be perfect. So for number 24, so x is 9, and you've got a small mistake on number 24. Minus 2/3 x equals 6. You correctly multiplied both sides by the reciprocal, and you even wrote the right number. You wrote -18 over 2, but that is -9. That's the correct answer instead of +9. Let's look at 34 next. 34 here. So subtracting 4 from both sides, divide by 6. Your answer is correct. 42 here. So let's see here. 3/4 is your answer. Subtract 2, divide by -4. You've got the right answer. Not sure you full understanding here, but you do subtract 2 from both sides, and then it's minus 4x. That negative goes with the 4x equals -3. Divide both sides by -4. I'm seeing sort of the missing of the division in the right number. It is divided by -4, but you get the right answer. So I've already gone through 44. So on to section 3.4. Again, just checking your work here for number 10. 3x minus 3 equals 2. Add 3 to both sides. Perfect. Your answer is great. 18. Let's see here. Distribute the negative. 6 minus 5x plus 5 is 31. 11 minus 5x. Good. And yeah, so kind of missing a step in there. I mean, you wrote minus 5x plus 11 equals 31. Be nice to see the subtraction by 11, and then the minus 5x equals 20, and then division by -5. But you did get the correct answer on that one. Really good. 22, distributive property done perfectly. Moving terms around. Let's see here. Missing a -6x, but you did bring it down here. So my comment is, it looks like a sign got lost, but then it got found again. And yeah, the answer is correct for number 22. Very good. We did go through 24 and 34. Okay, so now we're on to section 3.5. 3.5 here. Number 22. Yeah, so you flipped it. And it would have been good for me to see this before I went through 24. So let me just redo 24, kind of the way you you did 22. So it says 0 greater than minus 3x plus 3. You can rewrite it though as minus 3x plus 3 with the, make sure the angle is pointing in the right direction, 0. The one difference with this one though is that you end up dividing by a -3. And whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, it does flip the sign. But to go back, your answer to 22, just checking it over here, you did flip it. Yeah, your answer's good on that one. Very good. 24, we just talked about 34. Subtract 7. X greater than 5, perfect. Your answer to 34 is perfect. 40, let's see here. You flipped it, that's fine. Subtract 4, divide by -2, that does flip the inequality, which you've done. Number 40 is good as well. Really good here. These are tough. The inequalities are the thing that most students really struggle with. We did go through 44, so we're good. On to 3.6. 3.6, I think this was your last section. Q equals 4D, so D equals Q divided by 4. Number 14 is totally correct. 26 we already did. 38 we already did. And then I think that is it. 44, solve for D. So you multiplied both sides. Or, okay, you dealt with the 2 first. D over 4 equals R squared. Yes, that's correct. Multiplied by 4. Yes. So your answer to 44 is correct. And then we talked about 48 already. Okay, really good. I really hope this helps. Sometimes I go a little fast, always good to pause the video and review, but overall pretty solid. So thanks again for letting me help you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.